Now I have had the interesting experience almost all of my life of um feeling like that scene from Beetlejuice where um Beetlejuice throws the metal plate, right, on the lady's mouth because she's trying to say Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Yeah, I said it. And so much of my life, as I've done spiritual work really early on, studied philosophy, studied media manipulation, studied all of these nefarious things really early on. But it has felt most of my life like these are not things I'm allowed to talk about. I would talk about energy work and people would roll their eyes, right? I talk about astrology and people would laugh. I would talk about the body's self-healing properties and people would tell me I am obviously, you don't know anything. You haven't gotten a degree in medicine. So how could you know anything? I'm like, I don't know what this experience has been. And more recently, thank you, Diana. More recently, it has become, it's as if the universe is finally listening. It's as if the universe is finally like wanting to hear what I have to say. It's a strange feeling, but I'm also still coming up against the kind of similar energy um, with social media. I think it really is a thing, we really talking about the body's self-healing properties, talking about tools that keep you out of the doctor's office, keep you off long-term medications. You know what I mean? Things that actually allow you to find your locus of control so that you can start the process of coming home to yourself, so that you can start the process of peeling away the layers of illusion so you can find your true self, so you can live your true life, so you can live your truth and your purpose. That kind of, those kind of people, that kind of way of living is not conducive to a population that's controlled. It's not conducive to chattel, right? And maybe it's immature of me to think that I could just come and start talking about it again on social media, on public space, and not have some kind of energy going, shh, already. Stop talking about that. We don't want people knowing that they can balance their own energy bodies, that they can manage their own emotional bodies so much so that it doesn't cause the physical pain that we're treating with medications. Ah, lady, cutting in our pockets, reaching your hand in your pocket with our pockets with that mindfulness talk. So I guess I'm not surprised, but I'm still surprised because there's always part of me who's never understood remaining ignorant by choice, who's never understood gripping attachment to our ignorance. I have always that the cat's getting you guys. I have always sought to see myself from another's perspective. If someone says to me, I feel like you're manipulative, which has been said to me, I turn around and say to that person and say to myself, how could I appear that way? Not, oh, they must be right, right? I recognize that their projection, that's their projective projection, their perspective. How could that be correct for them? And I would spend days, sometimes weeks, sometimes years trying to put myself in that box, trying to look at myself from outside. And I recently heard somebody saying something really profound, talking about the difference between, gosh, what were the words that he used? Projection or perspective, something, projection or perception, perception and perspective, perception and perspective. And we all have our perception of situations, our own perception of what's going on. But what's really powerful is when we are able to shift our perspective about what's going on. Sorry for the shakes, guys. My cat is attacking the camera thing today with a little toy ball. But when we can change our perspective and put ourselves in different perspectives, regardless of our perception of the situation, then we have real power. Then we have, okay, kitty cat, give me this. Get out of here. You silly kitten. You silly kitten. Okay, dog, you stay right here. Nope, that's not your ball. That's not your ball. Don't even look at it. Don't even think about it. Don't even dog about it. Yes. Because we create, through our illusion, we create our own, through our, we create our own illusion through our commitment to our perception. Through our commitment to our perception, we create our own illusion, and we tie ourselves, we marry ourselves, we fucking die on that cross so often and cause ourselves suffering, cause suffering and strife for ourselves and in our lives and in our inner worlds. And when we realize how much suffering we cause ourselves in our own minds, the first reaction is, holy fuck. I have been making that chaos this whole time. And then the next one is, oh, wow, I have that much power. So no wonder they're lagging content. No wonder they're hiding this stuff. No wonder they don't want it in your hands. So speaking of hands, for those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Reverend Deborah. I apologize for my lighting. We have this beautiful sun coming out and I can't be out of it. So we're going to have funky lighting today. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being. I am your shenanigan shaman, so beware of that. There are always shenanigans here. Do not expect too much seriousness. If you need to take your self-care, coming home to your self-discovery journey seriously, then I, by all means, take it seriously for as long as that works for you. And then pull your head out of your serious ass and be playful about it for a little while, because you can always put your head back in your serious ass for a while. I love you too, Eva. Okay. So our mudra this week, this is our Bhakti Bites class. Bhakti means devotion. Devotion to what? Devotion to self-care. Why? Because we always, not always, because that's an absolute. We really often forget our self-care. We really often feel like we can't get our self-care in because it's, oh, I don't have time for it. I don't have time to do an hour-long deal, right? That was my excuse for so long. I don't have time to sit for an hour-long class. I'm too busy. Okay, well then make it make it bite-size. Make it accessible. Make it pocket-sized, travel-sized. And here we are. Our mudra for this week, our mudra is the Chonmukha mudra. And this mudra is unique in the fact that it has two parts to it when we're practicing. There we go. Let's let dog get settled here. It has two parts when we're practicing. First, we begin by taking our fingers, all grouping them together here. Hold on, let me bring you guys over here. Okay, so we bring all of our fingers together to touch our thumb. Chatty hands, yes. No more than the weight of a nickel. Never more than the weight of a nickel. Sir, you're going to have to lay down. And then the first part of the mudra, with your right hand facing up and your left hand facing down. You bring the tips of your fingers together. Dog. Bring your tips of your fingers together, one on top of the other, and hold it in front of your solar plexus. Please lay down. Please lay down. your Chonmukha Mudra. It is centering. It is grounding. It calms the mind. But the biggest thing that this mudra does is it balances the upward and downward energy in the body, the yin and yang, the lunar and solar energies in the body by working with the central energy channel. The central energy channel is called the Sushumna. So on Monday, we just sat with this mudra all by itself. I want to add another piece today because this mudra is recommended. Sometimes mudras come along with an accompaniment, a mantra or a certain position or holding them in a certain way. This one is held here at the solar plexus. We spend 5 minutes with the left hand on top, and then we spend 5 minutes with the right hand on top. Now, I invite you to adjust this mudra to wherever it suits you best. If you've got some wrist tension, if you notice tension when you bring the mudra in here, then just move it out a little bit. If it's a little bit difficult to hold it in front of your solar plexus and it works better up higher or a little bit lower, I invite you to use the mudra as it works for you. Get as close as you can as to the original intention of the mudra, which is right here in front of the solar plexus. Get as close as you can to this and trust that the mudra does its work on its own, and that the intention of setting the mudra and holding the mudra there is all that you need. Remember that the most important pieces of mindfulness practice are what? Your intention and your attention. We set our intention and we bring our attention back to it over and over and over, releasing, letting go of any tension in the body, in the breath, in the being, right? All layers of tension fall away as we set our intention and bring our attention back to it over and over. So the additional practice with this mudra is to place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, on your hard palate. It can be on the front or up towards the front ridge, not on the back of the teeth, please, but on the roof of your mouth. That assists with the intention of this mudra, which is balancing the upward and downward energies in the body. It facilitates the natural balance of these energies. And again, for educational purposes only, this mudra is used in yoga therapy to treat cancer and autoimmune diseases. So just FYI, obviously for educational purposes only, I wouldn't be sharing such important information with people completely for free, right? Okay, Chonmukha Mudra. Left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. In 5 minutes, we will switch this way with the right hand on top, left on the bottom. Now, I invite you to find yourself a comfortable seated position. If you are walking or laying down, it's okay to also do this mudra that way. I do invite you to close your eyes with the practice, so please only close your eyes if it's safe to do so, if it's available to you. Let's start with our left hand on top. Let me reposition myself here. I'm a little lopsided. If you struggle to find yourself a good meditative posture, feel free to sit in a kind of comfortable position. You don't have to not have any back support in meditation. If you need some back support, we're not in the battle. We're not in the business of creating a battle within ourselves. We are in the business of meeting ourselves where we're at, honoring and loving ourselves for where we're at. So if right now where you're at is you don't want to sit in meditation without a back support, then go get yourself some stinking back support, okay? And laying down works too. Walking works just fine too. You can hold this mudra while you're walking. Meditative posture. One of my biggest suggestions, if you've got back or hip issues that prevent, or even knee issues that prevent you from getting in a seated meditative posture, I always recommend a booster. I'll give you guys a quick tutorial on check out my little stack of pillows here. I always use a big pillow underneath so it gives me a little bit more of a lift and extra squish. And then I usually use 1 or 2 small pillows on top so that, there you go, dog, you can use that pillow. So essentially, I sit on the tallest point of my stack of pillows. Dog, lay down right here. Lay down right here. Over there. And then I just bring my knees, my feet in to whatever posture works fine. So if you just have them crossed out this way and that works for you, great. If you want to use blocks or pillows to support your knees, you can also do that too. But this extra pillow underneath your bottom assists in tilting your hips back to relieve pressure on the low back. Excuse me, my dog. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. What is your deal? Okay, lay down then. Lay down. Lay down. Thank you. Okay. All right, guys. So once you've got yourself a nice, comfortable position, let's go ahead and grab our mudra. Left hand first, left hand on top first, right hand on the bottom, and place that mudra in front of your solar plexus. My mudra is being licked at the moment. I wonder how it will affect the energy of the mudra. Sir. Now go ahead and bring the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And no, not yet, not yet. We're going to take 3 deep breaths first. So relax your tongue and close your eyes, and we will take 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way down into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go with a sigh. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Big, deep breath and hold at the top. And release. I invite you to seal the lips. Go ahead and place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. No pressure here. We're not pushing, we're not putting pressure on the roof of the mouth, just making the connection. No more than the weight of a nickel between the connection of your fingers in the mudra, between the connection of all your where your hands come together, no more than the weight of a nickel where your tongue touches the roof of your mouth. And just give yourself a few moments to follow the breath. Inhaling all the way to the top, exhaling all the way to the bottom, allowing the breath to sink you deeper and deeper into the practice. Our intention here is simply to follow the breath. So if your mind monkeys are busy, chattering away, trying to pull your attention off to yesterday or tomorrow or 10 years from now or 10 years ago, simply guide them back. Guide your attention back to your intention. And right now, that's just to follow the breath. Nothing more, nothing less. Without struggle, without strife, without shame, without guilt. Fully present. You may already be experiencing some effects of this practice. Allow these sensations to rise and fall the same way your heart rises and falls on your breath. There's no need to attach stories to them. There's no need to follow them down a rabbit hole. Just notice. Feel free to notice when they arise, but let them fall away just as naturally. Continue with the breath. Oftentimes, this is as deep, this is as far as our practice becomes, as complicated as it gets, as far as it goes. It's just to be present with the breath and allow the mudra to do its work. Sometimes meditation is just that simple. And yet, within this simple practice, sometimes we struggle. I invite you to let go of your attachment to struggle. Let go of your attachment to doing it wrong. Let go of your attachment to being not good enough. And just be present with what is right now. Nothing more, nothing less. The dirty dishes in the sink, the chores that didn't get done, the things that need to get done sooner than later. Things that need your attention. Right now, allow them to be just as they are, without your attention. They will still be there. Sometimes when we sit with our meditation, some of those things won't be there when we're done. Yeah, the dishes in the sink will be there, but that feeling of anxiety or worry or doubt can be released by sitting still, by sitting in the present moment, and by the practice of gently bringing your awareness back again and again to your intention, to the present moment, to the present experience, and experience without judgment, without shame or guilt. Take a big deep breath in, hold, and as you exhale, twist the mudras. So now you're just turning your hands to bring the right one on top and the left one on the bottom, still in front of your solar plexus. We'll spend 5 more minutes here. Keeping that tongue gently touching the roof of your mouth, slowly inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Nothing more, nothing less than this practice. We bring our attention back to our intention, to follow the breath, to be present with this moment. Nothing more, nothing less. Inhaling the present moment. Exhaling all tension from the breath, from the body, from the being. If you find that following the breath is not enough for you, that you need something else to help anchor your attention, I invite you to shift your awareness to the point where your fingertips all connect to each other. This cluster of fingertips. And when you bring your attention here, I invite you to look with your attention, observe with your attention, and see what you can experience, feel, see in your mind's eye, keeping your eyes closed. Focus your attention on the connection point where your hands come together, where all your fingers bundle together. If you need something a little more intense, keeping the tip of the tongue, the roof of the mouth, with your eyes closed. Hold your awareness on the connection point between the hands. Focused awareness, focused attention. Or you can remain with the practice of following the breath. Whatever is most effective in anchoring your attention. Find what feels right for you. I'll just spend a couple more minutes here. Either your attention gently resting on your breath, or your attention focused on the connection point of your hands where all your fingers come together. Notice any sensations that arise within your hands, within your body, within your breath. Notice them and then release them. Catch and release. You may stay here in this part of the practice or go to the other, switch your hands back if you'd like to. You may stay here for as long as you would like, continuing your practice as long as it's available to you. When you feel complete, I invite you to bring your hands together into prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. And just pause, offer that gratitude, and then sit with it for a moment. Feel it in your heart, feel it in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. Just simple gratitude for what already is. And with that same feeling in your heart, offer yourself a slice of that gratitude pie too. I'm so proud of you for taking the time for self-care today. And thank you so much for joining me. I offer you a piece of my gratitude pie. I love you so much. When you are ready to come out of meditation, please do so slowly, offering yourself some wiggles and some stretches. Only opening your eyes when you're really committed to coming back to reality. Chonmukha Mudra. Chonmukha Mudra. It's the mudra for cooperation. It's the mudra for connection. It's the mudra that balances the lunar and solar energies in the body. Those energies that travel up and down through our central energy channel. feel amazing. It's a really, really nice one. Some of my favorite energy balancing practices are ones that focus on the central energy channel because it is the biggest energy channel, right? We actually have a lot of energy channels. We have this one main huge, I always think of it like a straw, like a straw or like a flute, right? We have this big central energy channel, and then we have these smaller minor channels, which we call the chakras. And then we have even smaller channels, minor chakras, and then we have these minor channels in the body called nadis. And there's like 7,200 or thousands. So there's like nobody can really agree on the number of them because there's so damn many of them. But if you have ever studied Eastern medicine, they also have meridian grids and whatnot, showing you where those channels are and where the minor points on there are. Whoa. Hi. Something just, that's crazy. All the channels in the body. Hey, kind to you. How are you? Um, so my favorite energy practices, balancing practices, some of these mudras affect the minor stuff, right? Little ways that we adjust the body. But some of my favorite practices are actually the big movement ones. It's why I really like this Chonmukha Mudra. Again, we do 5 minutes with the left hand on top, 5 minutes with the right hand on top. And we added to our practice today where we bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. That naturally starts to balance the energy, the upward and downward energy flow in the body. Add this mudra to it, and you have a much more powerful effect. Now, again, this works on the central energy channel. Some of my other favorite practices are chakra breathing, which is where we do basically an energetic cat-cow breath and move the whole body with it. The reason it's one of my favorite is because you can go as minor as like inhale, exhale, little cat-cows, right? And just moving the torso, moving the head up and down and tilting the hips is going to affect the entire chakra system from crown to root. So just that little practice works. But you can expand this practice to be a full body practice. And when I am really fucking out of balance, when I am really feeling out of whack and off center, this is what is like end all be all. I can be having a tantrum inside of my head, right? I can be having throwing a fit about something. And if I go and do a couple of rounds of this, it balances me. Now, it's really similar to the effect of, say, sun salutation. Because of the way that it moves and bends the body repeatedly, it balances that energy channel, right? So wow, brain. Sun salutation balances the solar energy in the body. There's a moon salutation, which balances the moon energy in the body. Without having to get out your mat and do a whole huge motion, you can do that like this. And this. You can do that like this. And this. Do you notice with each of these practices, there is a ebb and a flow, an up and a down, a forward and a backward, right? An in and an out. The balancing of both the up and down energies, the solar and lunar, the yin and yang energies. There's something going on in my head about duality and non-duality and how we are non-duality manifest, yet we are paradoxically stuck in an illusion of duality where we are always seeing us versus them, and black and white, up and down, heavy and light, and all of these we perceive our reality in all these dualistic ways, and all of these either or kind of tomato potato avocado kind of ways, right? But by our very nature, we are the balance of duality. We are the balance of these energies. We are the egg and the seed put together into one. We are the manifestation of unity. And yet we perceive ourselves as separate still, separate from each other, separate from my past, separate from my future. I am not separate from any of these things. It is the grandest illusion. But if you're ever going to come home, you have to leave home first. If you're ever going to meet a friend again, you have to say goodbye first. And so in that way, I believe there's a profound purpose to this illusion of separateness, this illusion of separation. What's our first trauma as human beings? Our very first trauma in this lifetime is birth itself. Why? Because we move from a unit encapsulated in perfect harmony, to a separate entity. And now we have to ask, we have to figure out how to get our needs met in this world where we no longer feel like we are one. That is our first experience of separation. And what do we have over and over and over again through our early development, but separation and separation and separation and separation, right? So many times do we divert and divert and divert from the unity that we first experience, the unity that we really are. But it's a necessary path. It's a necessary steps on the path. Again, to come back home, you have to leave home first. Even if the process of leaving home is scary, even if it hurts us, right? But think of it that way for a minute. Hey, Claybeard, how are you? Tamagotchi. But think of it that way. Before I am born, I am at peace with my unity. I am in balance with all of the cosmos. I am probably expanded throughout the cosmos and experiencing it all at once, right? And then I come crashing down into this finite body, a finite experience, an experience that has a beginning and an end, almost like I'm going on a journey, almost like I'm the Hobbit leaving the Shire. And yes, my heart is heavy for the things that I will miss, the comfort of the familiar, my friends, my connections, my deep knowing and understanding and being seen and loved that comes from my home. But there is also excitement about my adventure, the unexpected that's in front of me, the discovery that awaits me. And this is our life. I came here to experience a journey, to embark on a journey of some kind. The funny thing is many of us forget what that journey is about. Until we remember it's as simple as coming home to ourselves. It's as simple as discovering ourselves. What are we able to discover? What do we get to discover and experience on this journey? So many things. And usually we get to choose. We get to choose. We get to choose what we experience. But we have to wait until we're like 20 something until we get that option. We're like in the early stages of the video game, right? Really early on. We don't get the perks of self-reflection. We don't get the perks of being able to weigh the consequences, right? The child's brain is physically incapable of doing that. Physically incapable of doing that. The child's brain is still in the theta brainwaves until they're 7 or 8, until they're about 8 years old. And we continue developing until our 20s. And then we get the keys to our fancy meat bags. It's like, okay, we built you a meat bag. We build it, your experience built it, the people around you, the environment, the culture, all of it built this meat bag for you. Ta-da! It's like your quinceañera gift, it's like you're in your 20s. Here you go. Here's the fancy meat bag that's been designed and wired by your family, your early experiences, and the energies in your life that you were born into. Here you go. Amazing. Now what are you going to do with it? Well, I think it might need a new paint job. I appreciate that you guys helped me build this thing or built this thing for me. But the way you wired my reaction to not getting what I want, the way my reaction was rewired to that, I don't really like that. It doesn't serve me. So I'm going to shift that. I'm going to remold that. I'm going to unpack these layers of expectation. Shed, unzip the layers of shame and guilt. I'm going to peel away the layers of doubt and insecurity. All the things that you thought I shouldn't and should be, that you piled on to me, that you painted my front door with. Thank you for seeing me in your image. Total chaos. Thank you for seeing me painting me in your image. And now it's time for me to discover who's underneath, who I really am, who I want to be, not even who I really am. I think this is misleading sometimes. Who am I really? It's like who you are now is fake. No, who you are now is really who you are. But is it who you want to be? Is it how and why you want to be? Or maybe the limited amount of information we receive from our culture and our early experience and the expectations that were given to us and the values and belief systems that were given to us. Maybe these blinders, maybe this little corner of the universe isn't all that there is. Wow. It's so beautiful outside of this box that you put me in. So beautiful outside of these expectations that I still carried around long after you stopped speaking them to me. There is so much more room outside of the shame and guilt for not being what you wanted me to be. For not being what you wanted you to be and couldn't be, so you told me I should be. The parent is the bow and the child is the arrow. And it is our responsibility as parents, whether it be to children or to ourselves, to bend as far as we can so that we can propel our children or ourselves forward. Because in our little illusion, time moves only in that direction. Time moves in the direction of growth and expansion because the universe moves in the direction of growth and expansion. Time is malleable, yes, but it has a perceptible direction. Flow, if you will. And I can spend my life resisting that flow. I can spend my life trying to shore up, dam up the river and keep change away. I can create a little pool and keep my water in here and allow it to get stagnant and grow bacteria. Or I can trust in the flow of life, and I can release my attachment to what should and should not be. And then my journey is much more smooth. My journey is no longer a battle. My journey is no longer a fight upriver against the current. It was many years ago that someone told me this, and it was like a smack over the head with the light bulb. Not the light bulb going on. It was a crack. Oh my God. I cannot believe that I've been doing that to myself. He talked about it like a map. He said we all develop these maps of our reality. And a lot of that was built, yes, by the early wiring and whatnot. And if we don't take a look at that map, then we just keep operating by that map that was developed during our early wiring, which we were unconscious for. You were unconscious for it. So he asked me to tell him about my life because I was experiencing extreme physical pain. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in my 20s. I went to multiple doctors. Nobody could really tell me what was wrong, but I had extreme levels of pain, such that I couldn't like jog across the crosswalk if traffic was coming. I couldn't jog across the crosswalk real quick because it felt like my body was collapsing on itself. And I told him, he goes, well, tell me about your life. What is your life like? What has it been like up until now? And and I was like, oh, well, life is so hard. And I feel like I'm always climbing a mountain. It's like Mount Everest. And every time I think I'm at the top, it's really just a little plateau and I get to rest there briefly, but then there's even more of a cliff, and every lesson I learn is a brick in my backpack, and the more lessons, the harder the traversing up the mountain gets, and it's slippery and it's cold and my fingers hurt and I'm tired. And he said, well, no wonder your body hurts. It's literally the story I was telling myself about my life. Thank you, Crystal Light. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for holding space for me as I ramble on the musings. And he turned to me and said, well, didn't turn to me, we were on the phone. And he said to me, why can't your journey be on flat ground? I mean, why are you climbing a mountain? He goes, why don't you just put yourself on a river? He goes, why can't you be riding a boat? And why are your lessons bricks? Why don't you imagine them as feathers or bubbles for all I care, And I remember the feeling like warm light, like warm sunlight washing over my body and my mind. And it just exploded in my brain, right? All of these ways that we create a map for ourselves. If I don't get what I want, I throw a tantrum and therefore I get what I want, right? That is a toddler version of how to get what you want. Usually, if we have the right circumstances, we learn out of that. We discover more mature tools and we use those tools instead, i.e. we rebuild the bridge. We improve the roadway between I want this, this is how I get it, right? This is how I get what I want. But we've all seen the lovely lovely lady in her 50s or 60s throwing a tantrum at Starbucks because she's not getting the right coffee she wants. And you go, oh, you never renovated that road. You never repaved that road. That bridge is from the 1970s or 60s or whatever. And you're still like, Okay. Okay. That shit still worked for you. Okay. Or maybe it didn't work for you. It still doesn't work for you, but you're so damn committed to that being part of your identity, part of who you are, that you hold on with tooth and nail. You hold on so tight to our shortcomings. Argue for your limitations, and indeed, they are yours. I can't do that. That makes me so mad. It's their fault. He made me. She made me. Really? Did they like grab you by the body and force you to feel something? We get so lost in our illusion. We get so caught in our ideas of what other people are doing and what the world is doing to us. And we get so caught in our attachment to being weak or small or the victim or not good enough or not loud enough or not fast enough or not lovable or not worthy or not good enough or whatever it is that you perceive about yourself that keeps you sitting down instead of standing up when you should be running, when you should be flying instead of wallowing. But we've been taught to wallow. We've been encouraged to stay small. Hey, Chronicles of Harmony. Thank you for the follow. We've been encouraged to dim our light so we don't shine too bright. It's rude, shining too bright. And the pirates of my brain goes, yeah, tell that to the sun. The fucking audacity. Hey, it's too bright. Can you turn it down, please? I'm such a victim of my circumstances. I'm going to make the impossible a problem. Oh, the sun is too bright. It's going to make me suffer. It's making me feel really annoyed. But that's what we do to each other. Yeah. Somebody else is being authentic and shining their beauty. I don't like it. They should change. They should shine the way I want them to shine. The audacity. When you recognize how small and insignificant we really are, then it seems so silly to have the audacity to look at the world and say that it's wrong. And when we start looking at the world and looking for the divine in everything, when we look for God in everything, it completely changes your perception of reality. And you realize that if you really want to see divinity, if you really want to experience divine love, if you want to see God, you have to recognize that God is in everything. There is not a thing without God in it, without the divine in it. Not a thing, not a moment, not a person. They can put their shades on, right? I'm gonna start carrying around sunglasses, and when people give me shit for something, I'm just gonna pull them out sunglasses. If you don't like it, put some shades on. Here you go. I'm not gonna turn down my bright, so community service. Because I'm that asshole. I'm that weird shenanigan shaman who's gonna carry around extra sunglasses for legit in my fucking bag just so that I can give people a pair of sunglasses when they give me guff. because I am the one who's stuck with me for the rest of my life. So why do I let small moments change who I am? Let those small moments burden me for a long time after with shame. Man, all the people I have given rent-free living space to up in this brain, rent-free, rent fucking free. Damn. And they never take care of the place. They trash it. They put graffiti on the walls. They break my cute little fragile things. So why do we let them in here? And why do we let them stay? I love you so much too, Crystal Light. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Oh, it's 11:02. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here too, guys. For those of you just joining or do not know me, hello, I am Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and I am your shenanigan shaman. I'm also the owner of Move with Change. And there are some changes happening at Move with Change. Da, da, da. We are opening a public Discord space. So instead of having to hang out here on social media, we can actually interact. And we're going to do it on Discord. Why Discord? Because it's not Facebook, it's not TikTok, it's not YouTube, it's not social media. It is a private platform where we can show up authentically, interact authentically, meet each other where we're at. And it's also the space that we're using for our online mindfulness community called the Kaya Sangha. Kaya, C-A-Y-A, stands for Come As You Are, because your fucking bright light is gorgeous and you should not turn it down for anybody. So if you need a place to show up big and bright and beautiful when it feels like you can't be so bright and beautiful in the rest of your life, come to the Kaya Sangha. You can join the Discord for free. I will put a link on my Patreon. So right now, my bio, I have a link to Patreon. I am moving from my website to Patreon, Move with Change. I'm Move with Change on Patreon. I have multiple levels of membership there. I expanded my membership levels so that you guys can get the things that you want without the other stuff, and without having to break the bank to do it. So there are memberships from $11 to $444. And they have all different things that come with each of them. So if you would like to join the Kaya Sangha, if you've been wanting to join the Kaya Sangha, but haven't been able to do the $77 level, there are other levels now. So go look at patreon.com or patreon.com/move with change. If you have not followed me on YouTube, please follow me on YouTube. I'm at Move with Change on YouTube. I'm trying to cultivate the YouTube channel so I can offer more for my members on YouTube as well. If you guys could please follow me, I'd really appreciate it. Let's see. I have gotten rid of all of my single a la carte services. There's two reasons for that. One, the memberships, the way I have them set up, if you want any of the services in there, you can pay for a month of that membership and get the service. But ultimately, if you're seeking things like coaching, I don't do one-off sessions anymore, because to really use your time and my time wisely, we need to make a commitment to work together for more than just one session. We can have a nice 15-minute chat if you want to hop into coaching by donation. Coaching by donation is still open. There's a schedule for it. It's 15-minute coaching sessions. the Patreon makes me do a minimum. So I put $333 on the minimum. And if that's all the donation you want to offer for it, you get a 15-minute session for $3.33. If you would like to add more, I got a tip jar. And when you purchase it over on Patreon, you get all that info there. So if you want a mini session, you want to vent, you want to ask me questions about mindfulness, you want to, practice a tool, you want to do some yoga poses, whatever it is that you want to deal with at random, right? Coaching by donation is where that's at. That's on my Patreon. That's in the shop. You purchase it and then you get a flyer so you can schedule the appointment and get your 15-minute session. And that's my Save a Project. I want to be able to get you guys sessions and tools if you need them. If you need a one-on-one, go get the coaching by donation. But if I limit them to once a week, because if somebody is coming every single week or multiple times a week, it's time for you to make a commitment to stick together through coaching for a while, because there's not a lot that we can work on in a single session. That it usually takes multiple sessions to dig deeper into what's going on. That's what's causing you whatever that barrier stuck feeling is in your life. So I've set it up like that for a reason. But coaching by donation is available if you just want to grab a quick session. What was the other thing? The Discord space. I'm really excited about the Discord space because it offers us something that is unique to Discord, at least that I didn't have on the website. There are voice channels there. So up to a certain point of membership and above gets access to a pretty much 24/7 hotline. And as we grow as a community, the availability of this hotline is going to grow too. The idea is to create a community where we can show up authentically, but also where we can rely on each other, where we have somewhere to show up when it's messy, where we have somewhere to reach out when we need support. I was in talk therapy for many, many years, and my biggest complaint was that it was at 3 a.m. that I needed somebody to talk to. It was at bedtime that I was struggling to quiet my mind, and I could never call my therapist at those hours. So not only are we doing that with the Kaya Sangha, but in the long term, I am not yet because I'm still building it, but I am creating a certification program to teach you guys to do what I do. What I've spent more than 20 years studying, practicing, doing professionally, and going to college for, and getting certifications for, I'm turning it into a program so that you guys don't have to go through 20 years of it. And it's all concisely put down into a 40-month program. So it'll be a 3-year, 6-month program. Just that's the way that I have it outlined. And I think that's where we're going to go from now. So the idea being that as people move through this program, we'll actually be able to have more coaches in the same space. We'll be able to have more energy workers in the same space. We'll be able to have more movement facilitators like I do in that space. And then long term, hopefully we'll be able to open a hotline to the public. And that's the idea long term, because it's no longer about me doing shit by myself. It's not about you doing shit by yourself. The next coming of the Buddha or the Enlightened One is unlikely to be a single person, but rather a Sangha, a community of people practicing mindfulness together, a community of people supporting each other, a community of people showing up authentically, practicing radical inclusion, revolutionary kindness, meeting each other with a sense of curiosity and willingness to see through the eyes of compassion. It is possible, and it is our nature. Nikki, have a great day. So if you are already a member of the Kaya Sangha, I sent an email out yesterday with the link to that Discord. So hop on over to the Discord and start getting your spot set up there. If you have any questions about the Discord or getting signed up or getting to it, let me know. If you want to join the Discord like right now and you cannot wait for the post that I'm going to make about the Discord, then send me a message and I'll send you the link directly. Again, it's a public, free, open front space But there are closed sections. I really like Discord for this reason. We can have a public arena, public waiting rooms, or public rooms. Or hey, 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 hey. Sure. Come here. Oh, my friend is here. Hey, guys. Hey, Ajna. Let me let him in. That means it's 11:11. If you guys have any questions, send me a message. I'm happy to send you a link to get directly into the Discord. I'm happy to answer any questions, to chat more about any of these things. If you'd like the replay, it's on YouTube. So go follow me on YouTube, please. And go follow me on Patreon too. You can follow me for free on Patreon too. So go ahead and follow me on Patreon, and that way you'll at least get updates as we do new things, and updates on when workshops come out and when classes happen and all that stuff. So I love you guys so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And for Kaya Sangha members, remember that we have group coaching tonight at 4:30 Pacific time. I will send out a message again. Okay. Love you guys. Have a good one.